What's up? What's up? And welcome back to another episode of the Account for Life podcast. Jay Moore, the healthy accountant, helping you to account for your life. Today, here's what we're going to jump into on the podcast. How does one become more attractive? And I'll start with a question. Have you ever seen before and afters, like someone went on a weight loss journey and they lost 100 pounds? Maybe they lost 50 pounds or 20 pounds or 30 pounds, whatever it is. And you saw that before and you saw their after. Have you ever saw one of these transformations when you're just like, is that even the same person? Yeah, now that's transformation when you almost cannot recognize the person that is today from the person that was yesterday. So really what we're talking about today is transformation, and what transformation is, how does transformation happen, and really what can anybody do to become more attractive? Now, this could go a couple of different ways. This can go into, physical attraction, it could be business attraction, it could be whatever kind of attraction you're looking for. Like, say I want my wife to look at me differently, or you want your husband to look at you different. How do you become more attractive? Now, sometimes it's not just the outside that we have to work on. Sometimes, or a lot of times, we have to work on what's on the inside to become more attractive on the inside. Today, we want to talk about transformation. We're going to talk about transformation because it stemmed from a conversation I had last week, radical transformation. And I want to continue this topic because I'm very interested. I don't know if you're interested. Are you interested in this topic of transformation? Are you looking for a transformation? If you are, just let's have a conversation and let's talk briefly about what transformation is and how to become more attractive. So as usual, I like to go and get a word definition of something, and today is transformation. And the definition of transformation is this is first thing that came up on Google, a thorough dramatic change in form or appearance. A thorough. So let's look at the whole phrase here. Thorough. So it's inside and out. It's not just one piece of something. It's the whole. Literally, you can see a difference. It was crazy because there's an influencer that I came in contact with some years ago. I think her name is Nicole Walters. Nicole Walters, I remember her from Periscope days, and she was cool. She had a great message. But one of the things that I noticed about Nicole Walters is that she was a little overweight. She was beautiful person inside and out, a little overweight. Well, no, she was overweight. She knew it. And it's crazy because I hadn't been paying attention. I haven't been watching her in a long time. And I saw a picture of her recently. I was like, is that even the same person? I'm like, she looks totally different. Like, she looks like a totally different person. And I'm like, man, she really worked on it. She was already attractive on the inside. Then she took the outside and she did something amazing. And she just happened to be pregnant when I saw the picture. I was like, wow. She was already attractive inside. Then she turned the inside outside. And now what I can remember about the before is overweight. And now the after is like different, thorough. It was dramatic. It's one of these changes that you almost didn't recognize her. If I would have saw her, and I didn't know who she was, I may not have recognized who she is because that's how dramatic the change was. So as I was, thinking about this transformation process and how it's thorough, it's dramatic, it's one of these things where your whole appearance would change. I like to always bring it back to, what am I really working on? What am I personally working on as I'm looking to grow myself? Let me tell you one thing that I'm working on. And I've not had a dramatic change yet. And it's kind of like, when you have relationships and you've been with people for a long time, it's like, have you been in a relationship for a long time? And, it's kind of, I don't know, it's stale or, it's not growing. I said, man, I got to get better. So if been in a relationship for a long time, I've got to get better. I got to make myself more attractive. Like, literally, how do I make myself more attractive to the people that I've had the relationship with for a long time? See, People remember you based on the past. They don't remember you based on something new until it's a dramatic change. When you fully transform, when you fully turn into something else, it's almost like, wow, totally unrecognizable. So I was thinking about becoming more attractive. No. This is not so that people can look at me. No. It's not that. It's the inside that I want to become more. I want people, and I want even my wife to see me as more attractive from the inside, not the out. See, because the outside doesn't matter. See, because at the end of the day, you could change what's on the outside, but if the inside doesn't correlate to change, then you just got a superficial change. Like, have you ever seen that where, if you got you're one of these top 10 models, they're beautiful. I'm talking, you're like, oh my goodness, she's so beautiful, or he's so bad. And then you meet them, you're like, oh, they're horrible. Like, their personality was terrible. They just killed it for me. Like, I've heard stories about that. I remember one time, my wife Jenny, she had gone to a basketball game in Orlando with a friend of ours. And I can't remember what two teams was playing, but Orlando Magic was playing another team. And, I think she said that she saw JJ Redick. JJ Redick is now the coach of the Los Angeles Lakers, but he played in the NBA for many years. And she said he was very stuck up, didn't want to talk to anybody, didn't want to sign the autographs. And now he's not a top player, so who cares? But what she could remember is she didn't like what was on the inside. And sometimes that happens to people when they have a certain status, they act a certain way. But when it comes to how we look on the inside, how does one look on the inside? It's crazy. I was listening to a sermon this morning by Eric Thomas, and we have a lot in common. And he was mentioning something about his wife. He says, man, he loves to take his wife places because she can easily get out of stuff. Like, people try and sell them stuff. People want to give them stuff. And Eric was just like how he can't seem to get out of these conversations. People come to the door, he's talking to people. And I said, yeah, that's me. I'll start talking to them and I'll just acquiesce. But not necessarily my wife, but not just. And so he says his wife always turns people away. And he asks his wife a question and he says, hey, well, why is it that when people I'm talking to these same people, I can't seem to get out of the conversation, but you, on the other hand, you just throw them to the curb. She says, well, you always smiling. She says, you are always smiling. And you always looking at people. And she says, I ain't looking at them. I ain't smiling. And so they know not to talk to me. They know it's not happening. And I thought about that. I says, wow. Sometimes when we're looking to transform, we got to look at who have I been and is there a part of me that needs an adjustment, right? Is there a part of me that needs to change? So when I look at becoming more attractive, say I want to become more attractive to my wife, right? If I'm looking to become more attractive to my own wife, then it's not going to be physical. She already got me, right? And there's things about me that, she already got that. It's what character is on the inside do I need to adjust so to make her life better? I'm gonna tell you, man, this is a conversation I'm having with myself. I haven't come up with an actual plan, but I will say this. There are fruits of the spirit that we all embody. We all have it. And it's called the fruit. It's not the fruits. It's called fruit of the spirit. And the fruit of the spirit possesses all of these things: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, self-control, all those things. So what part of that fruit am I not demonstrating? Like, if I just take the first one, I say I love her, but does it represent my tone? Does it represent how I pay attention? Does it represent how I'm showing up for her? Does it like, and this is tough sometimes. Let's get honest. It gets tough because when you've been in a relationship for a long enough period of time, sometimes you just get in your ways. And I know for me, I'm sometimes we can go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And I could probably get on her nerves just because like sometimes I get too passionate about things. I'm like, why do I do that? I gotta adjust that. I gotta change that. So if a person would like to become more attractive to their husband, their spouse, or their friends, their family, whatever it is, we gotta first take inventory. What is it? What is it that I'm already doing that I probably should pull out? See, we gotta first know. Because it's not like, oh, we can go to them and say, hey man, that's another one. We gotta take inventory and say, what am I already doing? And then we have to go to them and say, hey man, is there anything I need to stop doing? Like what do you not like? And then what do you like? What would you like me to do more? Like, because really sometimes we do have to get that feedback. We got to get that understanding of what they want, because sometimes you could try and know or think but until you actually know, you don't know. So becoming more attractive will require a conversation. And if we're talking about a transformation, once that conversation is had, sudden, well, first one is thorough. We got to become thorough in our understanding of that. This is one of the challenges I've personally had. And one of the challenges I've had in, say, doing this podcast or doing anything is being thorough. I'm not always thorough, to be honest. Which is kind of odd. It's like, in the field that I'm in, I'm detailed. I know a lot of details. But being thorough is different. See, being thorough is like being able to do things, being able to like know something and understand it at many different levels. It's like, going from first superficial level, to the intermediate level and just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into the thing. And so being thorough, when we are thorough in this process, what happens is we learn more, we discover more, we can in essence be able to do more because of the fact that we have gone so deep in the topic. So account for your life is one of these things that, how does one do that? Like, how does one account for their life? There's many facets, and that's why we're talking about becoming more attractive. And becoming more attractive starts with the transformation process, which starts at being thorough, because the definition says a thorough and dramatic change. So I'd like to become more attractive. Maybe it's to my wife. Maybe it's to my spouse. Maybe I'm not married and I want to become more attractive. I recently had a conversation with a friend of mine. I've known this person for many years, and they were talking about how they, of course they want to get married because they're not married. They'd like to get married, and they almost felt like, it's just not happening. I'm in my 50s, but I was thinking, what if a transformation happened? See, because what's interesting is people are always getting married. There's people on the planet walking around looking for people like you. And then if I decide that there's a person out there that's for me, how thorough can I get in the change process? What do I know about this person, or what do I want out of this person? See, becoming more attractive is to know what you want. Let's be honest here. When we know what we want, we can better articulate what it is that we have to do. We can even make it easier on ourselves because that's all we focus on. So when we're talking about being thorough, that becomes the thing that we're focused most on, being thorough in the one thing. And so for me, it's not just becoming attractive. It's becoming more thorough on what is expected, what I expect out of my life. See, some days, just before I'm about to press record on this podcast, I'm wondering, really? account for your life. This is hard. The more thorough I can become in showing the transformation, the dramaticness of what that transformation will show, and it will be obvious. Because that's what, in essence, that's what we all want. We all want to see transformation. We all may not want to go through the process, but we want to see it. And when we see the transformation, imagine this. When you see the transformation in your life, what will that do for you? Because it's going to make you understand there's something deeper about me that I need to give to other people. And then what happens is you don't have to try and become attractive. You have become attractive. And those people that are looking for that transformation, they're like, hey, how did you do that? Man, I just recently saw something like this recently. Everybody wants to know how you went from before to the after. Look, if you want to become more attractive in your life, you got to become thorough in understanding what you actually want. See, because the more thorough we can go into the process, the more it'll be, or the easier it'll become for us to actually become attractive without actually trying to become attractive. You know, taking inventory of what it is that we're already doing, asking questions, asking people around us questions about us. Hey, what's good? What's bad? Like, give me some feedback. And then just going all in on that. Going into the point where there's a dramatic change in our appearance on the inside and on the outside. So if you want to become more attractive, try some of these and see what happens. And let me know in the comments later on, once you've gone through the process, how it came out and how much more attractive you became to other people, your family, your friends, or even a spouse or a future spouse. So guys, I thank you for joining me for this episode of the Account for Life podcast. This is Jay Moore. I'm the Healthy Accountant, helping you to account for your life. God bless, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
This has been the Account for Your Life podcast with your host, the Healthy Accountant himself, Jay Moore. Until next time, make it a great day.